at. So a lot has changed personally and what I've learned about myself and what I've learned about life through the highs and the lows. So I don't necessarily think I would be where I am today without going through some of the harder stuff. I feel like I'm a better person because of it, even if it derailed where I wanted to do for a while.
East Carolina Sports Show on your ride home. Headed to Canada, joining football, signing with the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Heard some of the interesting statements. My favorite comment of the whole thing is him saying, "I'm in it for the long haul." They signed me for 2 years.
He got more money for this deal than Vince Young got from Saskatchewan last year. Saskatchewan, believe it or not, the Rough Riders actually did sign Vince Young last season. He he got injured in training camp, but Johnny Football got kind of a decent contract. It's like a
6 figures,
$122,000 base salary, and then I think $10K bonuses per game or something like that. I mean, he's got a potential to make up to I think just over $200,000 this season.
And I think
incentives. June
Jones is his coach in Hamilton, a guy who has a lot of NFL experience. And I've told you, I have a football problem. I actually watch a little bit of Canadian football, and I'll certainly watch and see, what's going to happen there. Again, he's going to have to earn his opportunity on the field, and if he finds a way to do that, we'll kind of go from there. I still don't believe that Johnny Manziel, will find a way back into the National Football League. It's not impossible, but I just need to see a lot in order for me to entertain that right now. He'd have to be, again, he'd have to be exceptional on the CFL level to garner interest from the NFL. Again, he'd have to be pretty daggone good. Because if he's not good at the CFL level, what in the world would you see from that would make you want to take the chance of signing him if you didn't see something great? I mean, when you look at a guy like Warren Moon, who is the only player to ever be immortalized in the Hall of Fame in Canada and in America, CFL and NFL great. Doug Flutie, who didn't really get an opportunity, who kind of reminds me a little bit of Manziel, undersized, short, mobile quarterback, didn't really get a chance in the NFL, had to go prove it and win Grey Cups in Canada to get the opportunity to come back. That's what Johnny Manziel's got to do. Right. He's got to win in Canada, and I think that would get him back in the NFL.
I think so. It is important to note that he cannot play in the NFL until that 2-year contract is up. Many odd years ago, Canada basically said, we're not doing these 1-year deals with non-CFL veterans anymore. They basically require you to sign at least a 2-year contract. So best case scenario, we see Johnny Football on an NFL team in 2020. It can't be any sooner unless, of course, his CFL team cuts him. But if you get cut in the CFL, you're obviously not going to get the chance to play in the NFL.
And I think that does two things. One, it would prove to an NFL team, what he does on the field, which is absolutely, from a football standpoint, the most important thing, right? But from a character standpoint, a guy who's had character issues, and if you're an NFL team, even if he's fantastic on the field, the truth is 2 years in Hamilton, and if you can behave, then that's the other thing. So I think part of it is it's going to be good for him. You'll actually get to see him on the football. Listen, nobody is guaranteed a second chance. Manziel, this is about as close as you're going to ever get to a second chance at football, because football didn't owe you anything, and the way you treated football at the end, he's lucky to be where he's at. I know he's kind of scratched and clawed and kind of put himself here. I'm very interested to see. But again, his behavior is as much in question right now to me as his play on the football field.
I think he's probably pretty well suited for the CFL, though, because, I mean, you know more about CFL than I do, but it's a wider field. Right? And then
three downs.
So I feel like the ability to scramble is kind of nice. If you know you only have 2 downs before you have to punt, like, it seems like it's sort of an advantage if you know your quarterback can go out there and just get you 4 running around the pocket if he needs to. And then But 12 men on the field, I guess, to accompany for the wider thing. I don't know. I think he'll do well. And obviously, if Johnny has made all the life improvements that he said he's made or intends to make, then he's going to he's going to be successful. He was a good football player in college. There's no denying that. And there's a reason he was even drafted to go to the NFL in the first place. But
yes.
I'm just taking the wait and see approach. I'm excited. I mean, this is certainly going to get eyes on the CFL that weren't there before, right?
So
I will gladly tune
watch,
in. Hell yeah.
You're going to watch the CFL?
Absolutely.
Man, that's awesome.
Yeah, Grey Cup all the way,
awesome.
man. Woo!
Sweet. I mean, can it happen? Listen, I'm not saying because, transitive properties, because he had to work hard, but right behind me, Darian Durant, North Carolina Tar Heel quarterback, never got a chance in the NFL because he was undersized, wasn't big enough. Goes to Saskatchewan, wins the Grey Cup. I don't know that he's going to be a Hall of Famer, but he's an all-time great for Saskatchewan Rough Rider fans. There's certainly the idea that Johnny Manziel can go to Canada and be a star. And he's young enough that can mean he can find his way back to the NFL. It is a last chance, but again, there's so much. Listen, this is an opportunity. Teams are always desperate in the end. And if he were to go and make an immediate impact in the CFL and win games for Hamilton and do incredible stuff in 2 years and keep out of trouble, you'd be amazed at who might give him a shot, because in the NFL, they are desperate for quarterbacks all of the time. Probably won't be Cleveland.
No.
Probably blew that opportunity. But if he does well, there might be an opportunity for him down the road.
Do you know who their starting quarterback now is right now for the Hamilton Tiger Cats? It's a name you know. It's a familiar name.
It is a familiar name, and it's escaping me right at the moment.
Former Oregon Ducks quarterback Jeremiah Masoli.
That's right.
So if you want to think about, and gosh, I think he got in some trouble in college too, didn't he? But if you want to talk about the kind of players we're talking about, why Johnny might be good in Canada, Jeremiah Masoli, very similar game. Scramble and quarterbacks, mobile quarterbacks seem to be very effective in the style of offenses that are run up there.
Absolutely.
Can we call him, so Johnny Football is the name. Now he's moved to Canada. I feel like, and prepare yourself because you're going to groan. I feel like now we should call him John A. Football.
John A.
Football.
That's interesting. That is bad. But
John
good.
A. Football.
Yeah.
Johnny Grey Cup. Johnny Canadian Football.
I'm not convinced that this happened. The one thing that I don't like about Johnny Football.
John A. Football.
I swear to you, it seems that I remember Johnny Manziel referring to Johnny Football like as in a third person and almost blaming the bad behavior on Johnny Football. Now, I don't know if I just made this up in my head or if I remember some interview that Johnny Manziel did where he was like, no, I don't like Johnny Football. Or it seemed to me and that was one of the reasons why I didn't even like the name Johnny Football, because if the guy who has that nickname refers to that name in the third person, there's something really creepy about that, right? It's kind of like me referring to a 12-year-old Mark.
I'm trying to find if there's any footage of that. I can't find anything, but I did find a tweet from January 19th, 2017. And it says, no lie, I was a douche in 2016. I'm just trying to be a good person again. # lost in the sauce. That was the old Johnny Manziel tweet from about a year ago.
Like many things at my older age, I think I make things up in my head and then they become reality. That's what happens when you have a vivid imagination.
It's the Mandela effect, man. To an extent.
To an extent. My own Mandela effect. But your look on your face tells me that this did not exist. It seems like this would be out there available.
I've got something. I have not cleared this, so we may have to go back and get this.
Okay.
Because whenever you unleash Johnny Manziel,
you don't know what you're going to get.
Right? You don't know what the sound.
I swear I remember him
be.
referring to Johnny Football in a third-person reference, which I always find amusing in so many ways.
Well, in your made-up memory, was it in an interview or was it like one of those candid party shots? Because I
think it was a candid party shot.
Okay, that's what I got here.
Hold Sounds like they're
That's
having a good
not
time.
it at all. It's just Johnny partying. Yeah.
Okay.
So maybe it didn't.
I'm not sure. Maybe it was a TMZ clip.
That was a TMZ clip.
Oh, yeah. Well, listen, it's really hard to keep up with that. I mean, how many? Come on. Johnny Manziel TMZ clips. For a while, which says a lot, too. As much as I love TMZ Sports, I mean, it's petty, dumb. I mean, for an entire, 3-month period, Johnny Manziel was the front page of TMZ Sports, right? He was doing all those LA parties, and he was drunk and willing to talk to cameras. And what can you say? Are you ready to take a break?
Yeah, I was really trying hard to find this video, but I
no,
really do think you made up. That's the
have
thing
to
he would do,
concede.
though, right?
I would make that up in my head. I think maybe I thought that that's what he should do. It seems like when people get in trouble, they deflect responsibility. And I'm not blaming this on a millennial issue or anything, but you know what I mean. There are people that oftentimes, like Johnny Manziel, who get into trouble and don't want to own up. I'm not accountable for this. Johnny, you know who did this? Johnny Football did this, not Johnny Manziel. You know who physically assaulted my ex-girlfriend? It wasn't Johnny Manziel. It was Johnny Football that did those things. We must get rid of Johnny Football. And I know he didn't do it, but maybe in my head I thought that's what he should do. Because, why not? I'm surprised athletes haven't tried to do that. And in this society, would it really shock you if an athlete blamed his bad behavior on his alter ego and the court system decided, you know what, you're right, we're expunging all the charges. It wasn't you, Johnny. It wasn't Johnny Manziel. It was Johnny Football. Do you think that in this world we could see that happening?
I think I've got it, but it's a 5-minute clip. So can I investigate and maybe we play this later in the show?
Especially since you didn't hear anything that I just said.
No, I didn't.
Let's take a quick break. We'll come back and I'll remind you what I said, and because I think you missed some pure genius what I was just saying. More of these kind of sports on your right arm coming up.